Hello, everyone. This is Josh from the Wrestling With The Willeys podcast. I'm here to talk about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain that it's free. There's creation tools that help you record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. They go through Apple Podcasting and pretty much anywhere that sets up podcasting for you. Also, you can make your money from with your podcast too. And it doesn't take that much at all for you to be able to do it too. So it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. If you guys are interested, just go to the app in both the iOS and the Android store, or you could go to their website at anchor.fm. Thank you and have a good day. Hello again, everybody. It's time for the Wrestling With The Willeys podcast. I'm here joined with Jeremy. We're going to start doing something different where we're going to start talking about the AEW Dynamite show now that I finally decided to start watching it. And what's it called? It seemed like it started off good anyway. So,
well, it's funny. We decided to do this, and this week's was like the Jericho 30-year anniversary show.
Yeah, so that's why I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's a good place to start as any. But yeah, that's the main thing about AEW to me, because I've been watching AEW Dark for I don't know, since it started and coming on, really. And I thought it was an inventive thing because they do NWA on mostly YouTube and stuff, and I think they do like pay-per-views. That's mostly what I was watching around the same time. And but supposedly they're making AEW Dark into their own show, supposedly on TNT, but I don't know for sure. They haven't actually done it yet. They might turn it into a Thunder type thing, but whatever. But that's one thing that I like about their shows, is that they try to make their stuff more legitimate in a way, or at least have higher stakes in their matches than WWE does. And it was cool showing the 30th anniversary stuff. It would have been cool if they would have talked about some of the WWE stuff, but I'm sure that he couldn't. They had to work around it, right? So they had to talk about stuff mostly on AEW.
Yeah, more than likely he was prohibited from bringing that in.
Yeah, they would probably be like, no, we're not going to show that on your stuff. And they couldn't have just even talked about it, I'm sure. But what's it called? So it kind of is a little bit lackluster there, that they can't go through everything. When if he was in WWE, he would fucking do that shit.
Yeah,
but I mean, still, it was pretty cool. And but anyway, the first match was Will Hobbs versus Brian Cage, and I've seen Brian Cage a few times before, in Lucha Underground and stuff, and I liked his work in Lucha Underground. And his stuff is kind of weird in Lucha Underground. They used to have him wear a glove that would add extra power or some shit to him, make him, but it would suck the life out of him or some shit. It was real weird. It's real weird. But anyway, so when I was watching him on there, I was like, holy fuck, this dude's huge. Well, then I heard good things about Will Hobbs too. I forgot who I was talking to, that they were talking about that they were super high on Will Hobbs. I think it was the Friendoverse Facebook group that I have. Somebody was talking about that they knew him or something, and then they were like, yeah, my boy Will Hobbs is in there. But this was a definite Haas match, though. They whooped the shit out of each other for, I don't know, probably about 10, 15 minutes, maybe. It's hard for me to keep track of how long the match.
It was something like that. I mean, the whole episode was 2 hours, and there was a lot that actually happened in the 2 hours. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was about 15, 20 minutes. It was somewhere around there. I didn't time it exactly either. But the FTW title, is that a made-up one by Taz? Is that what
the FTW
was?
The FTW title was a legit title that he came out with when he was in an ECW. And I think, if I got it correctly, I think it was like him trying to go for the ECW belt or something. And then he made it or something. And then he defended it against the strongest people, pretty much, or whooped the shit out of everybody. So they pretty much made it into like the most legit championship that they made. But
Okay.
I don't know, like, if he was the only one that had it, if it went to other people or not. But from what I hear, is that it was a legit title that Taz had.
And I
So
think he mentioned
it's kind
it
of,
during the episode, but it was just like, where did that come from? And I think he kind of said that he made it, but I never
I'm
read
pretty
into
sure he
it
made it.
previously because I've been watching this a little bit more than you, but I never
Yeah.
looked into what the FTW title was. So this was a
Well,
time
I
after
only remember.
Brian Cage won the match.
Well, I mean, this was like his first or second defense or something like that.
Well, then at the end,
He hasn't defended it many times.
Taz wanted him to come join Team Taz, and then Darby Allin came out.
Yeah, it looks like they're building up a feud between them two, which Ricky Starks is fucking awesome too. I watched last week's episode. That was like the first one, like the first legit one that I watched, and that match with him and Darby Allin. Whoo!
Yeah, Darby Allin's one of my favorites. So out of any,
Darby Allin is like legit like Jeff Hardy now. It's like he does the same type of shit, like takes the same kind of risks. The only difference is that he uses skateboards and shit into his stuff.
Yeah,
like the one where they showed in the package where they threw thumbtacks in the body bag, threw Darby Allin in it, and he flung him over the stage. I was like, oh. I definitely would not have liked that at all.
Yeah.
I would have legit been like, no, I don't think I need this. But I mean, like, that's why no matter what, I don't think that they're ever going to push him as a heel. I mean, I don't know how they would be able to push him as a heel. But anyway, this match was cool, and I liked the way that they did it at the end. Kind of mirrored how, what's it called? What was I watching? They did something.
The only crazy part is a lot of the matches
it was
are
the
not
Hurt
just
Business on Raw.
Yeah, it's not only it's like the standard ending, where somebody botches a move and then the guy finishes it. Like he went for the frog splash and then he did the whatever his move is. It was that like suplex looking thing where he flips him around. I don't know what it's called.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't remember it either. I
was surprised to see him pull off a Brock Lesnar move. He did the F5 like halfway through it.
Oh yeah, there was another dude that I saw did the F5, but he did like a way, like somebody on the Indies. I just forgot who, but I was like, holy shit! And he like really flings them too. But and maybe I don't know. I would have to remember it anyway.
Yeah.
But there's so many damn wrestlers now. It's hard for you to keep track.
Oh, I know. Like with this, like I said, at the end of this match, I tried to recruit Will Hobbs to Team Taz.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It kind of like mirrored what the Hurt Business did on Raw with Ricochet or whatever. Which kind of goes back into like what I was thinking about them, where Apollo Crews and Ricochet team with the Hurt Business out of taking down Retribution. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But this was a cool match anyway. I don't think we should really do ratings on some of these matches anyway.
No, I think we should just talk about what happened in the episode. And then, did you remember the videos that happened in between?
Oh, where they were talking about how
Jericho
about his 30-year thing.
Slash did one in this.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people. It was like Kevin Smith and
Gene
Simmons.
Yeah, Dennis Miller and Hiroshi
Tanahashi, I think. Yeah.
And then Ted Irvine and Bully Ray were in the first little bucket.
Yeah. They did a lot. They did like Steel Panther was in one.
And once again, Gene Simmons came off like kind of like a douche anyway.
Yeah, when he said the thing about,
I can't believe they had Ultimo Dragon on it though. Like,
yeah. Well, it was funny how
what?
they mixed his heavy metal life with wrestling because they had. Well, and then I don't know what Shaq was on there for, but then
Yeah, I know. He must know him like personally or
and
something.
then
That's what I'm
Don
assuming,
Callis and Lars Ulrich and then DDP.
Yeah. Which you know that any of the old legit like either WCW or WWE guys would end up talking
Oh, I know,
about
but some of them
Jericho
didn't
anyway.
make much sense. Like Eli Roth, I was like, well, what the hell? But
yeah,
anyway.
unless Eli Roth like had him in a movie once or something. I
Yeah,
know that Chris Jericho's
be.
acted.
I didn't even think about that, but
I know he's acted before, I think, but like I don't know about like how well of his movies are. But
well, then after that first bucket of videos, and they, of course, they had the Lance Archer promo for the match next week with Mox.
Oh yeah, I would have thought they would have waited a little bit longer for this match, but I loved the promo. I thought that Lance Archer was cool. How they were talking about how their New Japan match, how they're like it's going to be a different version of it, and this and that. One thing that I was like super psyched for though, like is the part I don't remember if it was after this. I think it might have been after the Cody one. But like when they were talking about the tag tournament or the singles tournament for the title. But the Lance Archer promo was cool. I think that it makes sense with what they say and like how he's like everybody dies. But I actually liked the John Moxley one better.
Yeah,
just because I like how it's like I don't care if who wins or who loses, like what he was saying on there. I thought that was a cool little promo that he was saying. But and which is different for John Moxley, mostly because I'm so used to hearing his promos from WWE. So now whenever I hear him talk, I'm like, okay, he feels more legit to me now, like as his character,
Well, yeah, he was in a bar. Are you talking about John Moxley's promo or Lance Archer's? You're talking about Moxley's, right?
The Moxley's one,
Okay.
yeah. Like I liked Lance Archer's because I've seen him when he was in New Japan, when he was in what's it called? Something Death Squad. It's something Death Squad. I can't remember. It's a tag team with him and Davey Hart Jr. or Davey Hart Smith Jr. Whatever, British Bulldogs kid.
Yeah.
That's their tag team when they were in New Japan. I don't know if he's still going to be in New Japan or not, but like I'm assuming I haven't seen them do a whole lot of wrestling out there. I mean, I think they did Dominion or something where Evil won the belt, but anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
But
well, after Lance Archer's promo, then it was the Hybrid 2 versus FTR for the tag team belts.
And you could tell that they were trying to like highlight the Hybrid 2.
Yeah, but what does FTR stand for? Does it stand for?
Well, okay, I'll explain it because you don't watch Being the Elite and stuff. So ages ago, like I think it was at least like 3 or 4 years ago, when Revival was getting hot with DIY and Authors of Pain and all that, when they were doing those takeover matches, everybody was telling the Young Bucks practically to wrestle the Revival. So eventually they turned it into a thing on Being the Elite where they used to say FTR, where essentially it meant fuck the Revival.
That's what I thought.
Or they kind of.
That's what I thought it meant,
but I. Yeah, they kind of left it open that like they didn't really explain what it was. They would just kind of said FTR, and then eventually they got huge pops of it whenever they were wrestling and stuff like that. But then later on, that was around the time when Revival came out with T-shirts that said FTR, and it was like Forever the Revival. So I guess whenever they were trying to come up with names when they were leaving, they were talking about like whatever, and they stuck on FTR, which makes sense. I don't know. I'm like, I think they kind of like said what they were going to name it or something at one point for their T-shirt name or whatever, but I don't. if anything, it could still mean like forever the revival in their standpoint. You know,
Yeah.
it could mean that still.
But this match, it wasn't that great for me when I watched it.
Well, to me, I really like Angélico and Jack Evans, right? But also at the same time, it's like Jack Evans, like especially when he was on the Indies, he used to botch a lot, like a lot, mostly because his style, right? He's a very high flyer that does inventive shit a lot of the time. Like there was one time where I saw like a cage match with him and I forgot who. It was like a bunch of people. It was like an old Ring of Honor show that I found at like a store, like a DVD or something. And it was like a cage match, but it was a triple tag team match with Jack Evans and like a bunch of other people. But he did like this huge moonsault. He kind of did like a reverse 630 Phoenix Splash type move. And he almost killed himself because it looked like they almost didn't catch him. So, like, ever since then, I've seen, like, most of his stuff. Like, he botches a lot. I mean, his stuff is inventive because not that many people do a lot of the stuff that he does. Like, he kind of, like, blends his acrobatic style, right? Like, he does, like, a bunch of breakdancing and stuff like that. So he builds that into his moveset, which is understandable. And then Angélico was huge. I think they were both around at the same time when they were in Lucha Underground. And I just remember seeing so many moves that Angélico did. It was mostly all high flying stuff. Like he would jump off of stuff and fling himself out off of roofs and all sorts of stuff. But like I'm like watching their matches, but it's not like my favorite.
Yeah, that's how it was for me watching the episode. This was the one that besides the big swole Serena Deeb match later, but
yeah. I mean, like FDR is always good though. Like I've seen
but
them.
The problem was, I think it was what you said. The other team kind of detaches it. It kind of sent me in a different direction watching that match.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's always with Hybrid 2 for me. Like I really like them, especially like I remember one of them was AEW Dark, and it was like Jack Evans versus Kenny Omega, and they did some sort of move that he completely whiffed. Like I don't remember what it was. I think it was supposed to be like Spanish Fly or something, and he missed.
But they're not as bad.
And then they had to make up for it.
Hybrid 2 is not as bad as that one group was. I don't remember. Me and you had a conversation about it. It's like, I can't remember the name, but it's like Party something.
Oh, Private Party?
Yeah, Private Party. I watched them one time, and they just look like they're trying too hard.
Well, yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. I mean, I like them, but also at the same time, I think they do try like a lot of moves that they don't necessarily have to. But the one thing for sure, last week's episode where Chris Jericho went, I think it was that last week's, where he went against not Mark Quinn, but the other guy from Private Party. He made him look good. He was selling because he pretty much beat up Chris Jericho for like 90% of the match. And like he was selling all his moves and all that stuff. So like I was surprised. And even the dude from Private Party, I forgot his name already. But what's it called? He did the Code Breaker at one point too. And I was like, damn, he's even stealing his moves. But I see what you mean though, and supposedly I think they're still like kind of early on too. I don't think that they're like as seasoned of vets as the Hybrid 2 are. But still, I want them to do something else other than what they're doing. Like they haven't really highlighted them as much. Like they kind of did stuff on Being the Elite one time. It was kind of funny. They were doing this dance-off thing with John Silver, and I swear John Silver is fucking hilarious. Like every time he does something, he sits there and he's like Johnny Hungy, like on Being the Elite. It's so fucking stupid. But like his comedy that goes with Brodie Lee is just fucking funny as shit. But they did this thing where Jack Evans did like his breakdancing moves, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, John Silver won." It was just stupid. But but what's it called? Yeah, like it was a cool match, but like I think it could have been better. I think that's the main thing. And hopefully with this FTR tag belt thing, hopefully they give chances to other groups and like really try to like put over some of the other groups. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I still think that they have one of the best tag scenes right now anyway. Especially if they do Miro and Kip Sabian together too.
Well, I think they've got a match next week, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think that's what I know. And then after this match, they had, I think the Young Bucks did a promo, didn't they? There was kind of like a little promo before Best Friends came out and cut a promo.
Oh yeah, hold on. Was it? Oh yeah, it was like right after.
Yeah, it was kind of where they kicked they super kicked the screen or something.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're trying to do with them. It's like I know that they're trying to do a slow burn for FTR going against the Young Bucks. I think that they're really, really trying to tease the fuck out of that match because so many people wanted it for a long time. So I think they're really, really trying to go slow as shit with it. But I don't understand why they're like, oh yeah, that's what I forgot. That they kind of showed on, maybe it was Being the Elite. They showed where either that or last week's episode of AEW, but they were showing like how they were in PWG, where they were just when they were in the Bullet Club and they were just super kicking everybody. Really, essentially, that's what it was. They were just beating up everybody, and they're like, "We got to go back to what was working before. We were being too nice." So I think they're still being cheered right now, but it still doesn't make sense to me all that much. But it's just kind of funny how they're giving shit to FTR, though. But by far, the whole weenie joke was pretty funny. Like how the Best Friends came out and there was just pictures of FTR as weenies or hot dogs.
Yeah, that was funny. That's why I said that. That was hilarious. That when they came out after that video, then they cut the promo saying they would be the number one contenders and facing FTR next week.
And I definitely that fucking next week's show sounds like it's
gonna I know the anniversary show. That's what I was saying. I mean, and they kind of laid it in pretty nice this week and how they did it. Because
that's the main thing that I think of that AEW does so much better than WWE at is that they really kind of give you a big show feel for AEW. Like because they do Fyter Fest and they did what was it? I'm trying to think of the other ones that they were just doing as regular shows. But they did Fyter Fest. Oh, yeah. Maybe it was Fight for the Fallen. That they did both of those where they're kind of like they consider them as like pay-per-views, but they are on Dynamite instead.
Well, I thought it was interesting how they did last year with the Jericho's Cruise. They did it live on Dynamite. Remember where they were filming it from the cruise ship.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do that again next October when they have that again.
Yeah, I definitely think that they are going to do that. It would make it's the main thing that would make sense.
Yeah, and then after that promo with FTR and Best Friends and MJF, is it MJF? Cut that promo
they kind of showed
about
like MJF
Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and of course I think they're just trying to build up like MJF eventually. Like it seems
are they
like
building
MJF
up a Chris Jericho face turn? Because they
either that or like MJF is gonna kick him out of the inner circle and take it over. I don't know exactly what's gonna like because the way that it's showing, it seems like it's eventually gonna be Chris Jericho versus MJF.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me, especially when we get near the end. But then after this promo, I think they had more videos that we talked about Jericho's 30-year thing.
And this was the Kevin Smith one and the Gene Simmons one, then Shaq and all that. Which, I mean, it makes sense anyway, but I was just surprised that they ended up having so many fucking
that
people
one was the one with Shaq and Gene Simmons and Don Callis, Lars Ulrich and DDP were in this.
Oh, yeah, Don Callis was one of them. I think Don Callis is one of the guys for Impact, too, I think it's Don Callis and then it's Scott D'Amore or something like that. I think those are the two guys in charge of Impact right now. I think. I could be wrong. But, yeah, so like I thought.
Then after that was the best match of the night.
Yeah, the dog collar match.
Brodie Lee and Cody.
I definitely did not see this fucking coming.
I didn't see both of them getting cut up, and I honestly didn't see Cody winning the match.
I know, right? I was like, I thought that Brodie Lee wasn't going to squash him, right? Especially the way that it was showing like Cody beating the shit out of him for a lot of the match. Like him choking him with the chain and all that stuff. It looked like they almost botched a few times, but it's mostly because dealing with a fucking chain in the ring, doing your regular moves with the chain involved could probably
if you screw something up, right? You could mess somebody up royally after that.
Yeah, which is pretty much what happened on NXT. Like Ridge Holland destroyed his leg. Like I just saw that he tried to catch Oni Lorcan or something, and then his like leg landed wrong or something. But I just saw that like he fucked up his calf, his knee, and something else. Like he fucked up like 3 damn things in his leg. So he's pretty much out for like probably 9 months or something like that. He's gonna be out for a while. But definitely this is gonna be a good definitely the best match of the night. I was so surprised. But I mean, that's why I think that Brodie Lee is eventually gonna go against either Moxley or whoever. You know, like he's going to go for the title, whoever has the title at one point. Just because they're doing what WWE should have done with him. But I mean, I definitely did not see Cody winning.
No, and I also didn't. Like I said, I'm not used to because WWE doesn't really like blood all that much. I wasn't expecting, first Cody got cut, but then Brodie got cut, and it was worse than Cody's. It was like Jesus.
Brodie had it all over
he was
his face.
He was like red instead of white. It was crazy, but yeah, that was easily the best match. And then of course the setup at the end where they, who's gonna face him next week is gonna be Orange Cassidy.
And then a fucking Orange Cassidy, of course. I don't think there ain't no way Orange Cassidy's going to win, but that's going to be a hell of a match, though. They are trying their best to try to get him over as shit. I mean, he's already
got
over,
the weirdest freaking
all the people
wrestling with the hands in the pockets. I'm like, I don't know how you.
Like,
it's got to be awkward as shit.
It's like
for him to wrestle for one and two to wrestle against him.
Well, that's the one thing that I love about Orange Cassidy, right? Is that it was like you have to try, like he really puts in the work when he has to. Like the match when he went against Pac or whatever, like where like at one point he was doing the pocket thing, and then eventually he had to stop and then just go and wreck him at one point. But like that match is going to be awesome, especially I just like even off of what was it last week's match where Orange Cassidy went against 10, I think it was one of the guys from the Dark Order, and Dark Order was joking around and grabbed his hands and he was like, "Yeah, let's put him in there." Like put him in his pockets, and then he was like, and then he smacked him or something. I forgot what. I just thought it was kind of funny. That's why I definitely think that the reason why his stuff's working is because he's the only one doing it. Like the only person doing like a lazy sloth gimmick where it's like he just can't be. if anybody has the antithesis of meh, that would be Orange Cassidy. Like, because he's just like, I don't give a shit, whatever. And then only whenever somebody really pisses him off, he starts beating shit and beating people up. And especially like how I think he has a better Superman punch than Roman, which is weird. But yeah, so I'm definitely psyched for that. And then
then it was the talk about the tournament, like you were talking about. Then they interviewed Kenny Omega because Hangman Page was added to it, and they're tag team partners. But you know what, Kenny Omega, and I wanted to talk about this. Why does Kenny Omega always sound like either he's drunk or when he talks, he sounds like a little kid? It's really weird when he's talking in a promo. I don't know how to explain it, but when he talks, the way he talks is just not, it's odd to me. And I can't really pinpoint how it's odd, but it's not like, I guess maybe it's not normal wrestler promo-ish. I don't know how to.
I think that's one reason why, like, he gets so much shit for, like, maybe it's like that, because I could see what you mean. Because, like, I've never thought that, like, he's done super great promos. I think maybe when he was in Bullet Club, he was doing decent ones. Especially when he, like, got rid of AJ.
I think it's because he just talks like a normal person, and his voice is kind of...
Yeah.
His voice is kind of not deep, so it just sounds...
I think that's
it just
really
sounds
what it
odd when
I
he
think
talks.
It's just...
I don't know. I can't explain it. It just doesn't come off as being, ooh, a wrestler's cutting a promo. It's like a dude's just talking about stuff.
Yeah, it's different from, like, if you hear Eddie Kingston's
promos. Or even like Moxley.
Like,
Moxley's got like a raspiness to his delivery. Or Lance Archer even, or some of these guys, they have a raspiness to their delivery, and most wrestlers seem to have that, and Kenny, to me, doesn't. It's just like he's just talking like normal.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, because I always end up thinking that too, kind of like it just sounds like
he's like, I don't care who,
but I
don't care if it's a tag team, I don't care, blah blah blah. I'll take out anybody,
Yeah.
Okay.
But that they are building up to Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. Though.
They've been building on that for a long time. It's going to be them
in the final. Yeah. I definitely think that this is what's going to happen. They're going to be in the finals. Hangman's going to lose to Kenny, and then Kenny is going to go to Double or Nothing or whatever the next pay-per-view is, and he's going to go against Jon Moxley, and he's going to go after for the title. And I think whatever the next pay-per-view after that is Hangman's going to beat Kenny for the title. Like, I think that's what they're trying to build up, because that's the only thing, either that or they're going to have Hangman beat Kenny. And then he's going to beat Mox for the championship. Because it's been about a year, and it was like when, Chris Jericho beat him. So it makes sense if they went through this long booking and then did that. And then and then Kenny Omega could turn on Hangman and do the same thing that Mox did to him at Double or Nothing or whatever, and like beat him up, and then it builds up a feud between them. I think that's like my main like favorite feud out of this whole thing is them going against each other. Especially on Being the Elite. Like the promo that Hangman cut, he sat there and he was sitting there and he's like, dude, because Brandon Cutler was a dude that I guess when they were on the indies, that he was like a dude that just worked hard. So eventually when they got AEW, they just hired him like right away. So they're building his up, where it was like kind of like their story for him is that it's because he's had a losing streak of like 20 matches or 25 or something like that right now. So it seems to like so during the promo, he's only sitting there trying to talk about the Young Bucks, how like he threw the match for the Young Bucks so they didn't go against FTR, so it wouldn't be Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks, right? So they've been mad at him the whole time. So he sits there and he's like, talking about the Young Bucks would go out to see their see his match, and he's like, "Yeah, but would they be your second though? Would they come out to the ring and try to help you the whole time and this and that?" And he's like, "It might be like that, but you'll see when the chips are down that they will do what they want." Or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, really, but like the promo was just super cool, and I was like, "That's something that they could perfectly do on Dynamite." And that's one thing that I think I love about Hangman Page is that his promo style is like very like kind of like how his character is. Like it seems like he just likes doing cowboy shit, so he talks like that. That's why I think it's different for like him and Kenny. As Kenny, it sounds like he's just being himself, especially now. And then Hangman, it just feels like it's right for me whenever he gets upset because he feels like he's like the third wheel out of all of them, where all of them have had like so much greatness out of it, like title belts and all this stuff. And he's had tag belts. I think it's mostly tag belts and maybe like a mid card belt. He's never really held a top title. So I think that's why it's like him having a chip on his shoulder the whole time. So that's why I think this whole feud works for him.
Yeah.
It, just so like he could finally get his win. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued for that. And then I guess after that,
Yeah, which that was a
Serena Deeb, right?
crap match. It was.
Well, I mean, I liked Big Swole, like, and Serena Deeb. It seems like all right, but like I think they built her up more than she is, right? Because she didn't do a whole lot when she was in WWE, right? She wasn't like how Trish Stratus was and all them. So, like, I don't see why they're like, oh yeah, she's an absolute legend and this and that. I was like, the only thing that I really remember her from is the CM Punk Straight Edge Society thing where she shaved her head, and that's really it. And the Mae Young Classic, but that was really it. So I don't see why they say like she's as great as
She
is.
wasn't that great last night. I can tell you that. That's where I almost said, "Oh, I'll fast forward through this match."
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but it was also quick. It was only like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't very
not even
long.
10
I
minutes.
mean, because then after that, but
I mean, like I knew it was gonna.
no, it's fine. You knew it would be very long. For one, by the time this match came on, you knew there was still the main event plus, and there was only 25 minutes left in the show or something like that. I think when this match started, so you knew it wasn't going to be very long. And then that also told you the main event wasn't going to be crazy long.
Well, I figured that they were going to be mostly talking about Chris Jericho's achievements and stuff rather than anything else.
So when that ended, when that match ended, then John Moxley's promo was shown to go against Lance Archer's promo from the beginning to set up their match for next week. I thought it was, and like I said, that promo was pretty good too because he was in the bar and just talking, and then he took the shot and left.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. And then,
yeah, that's one thing that I love about what Mox is doing in AEW more than when he was in WWE is that he feels more like. Not so unhinged, but like a dude that doesn't really give a fuck.
Well, and this one actually fits more about, to me, who he is. Like, if you ever watched any of the in WWE when they would just be talking to him as a person, or even if you saw him in Total Divas, this is kind of, to me, who John Moxley really is in real life. Like, he's probably not much different than that. And
yeah, probably. That's why it's always like that they talk about like how certain great ones were always like themselves just turned up to 11 or whatever, where they're just. And it makes sense anyway. All the people that were just hugely like themselves, like what's it called, Stone Cold and The Rock and stuff like that, they were like they always did super well just because they were being by themselves. Same with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's shit is exactly who he is. He just turns it up crazier when he was a heel, when he was doing the
recycling shit. Yeah, that
thing, where he even changed the belt and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
you know he does.
Oh, he does. If you ever watched the Total Divas, it was a big thing that they would compost their own crap at home. And anyways, but yeah, so yeah, put it into perspective how good next week's gonna be.
Oh yeah, that whole show is gonna be pretty stacked anyway.
And then,
good Lord, man. But I mean, that's why I keep on seeing stuff where they're talking about their shows, and it's like all like good matches every time, or like stuff where I'm like seeing potential in the matches, right? Like, because I like Big Swole, and obviously they like Big Swole too. And I don't know if you know that that's Cedric Alexander's girlfriend or wife.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Whatever. Yeah, that's why she ends up every once in a while, if you're on Twitter or some shit, like when she was talking about, this was the main funny thing that she said. Right after Cedric turned to the hurt business, she's like, he could hurt my business anytime. So I thought that was hilarious. But like, that's why I like Big Swole, and I definitely could see them trying to do something with the title with her. They need to do something with the freaking belt, though, like the female's belt. Yeah. They need to do something with that. They haven't really done much with it so far as I've seen. But yeah.
Well, after the Moxley promo, that's when they had more vids, right? So they had the Lance Storm, and this is when Kevin Smith was there. Eli Roth, and then Fluffy, I call him. Like Gabriel Iglesias and Chavo Guerrero Jr., which I thought that was interesting that they were like in the same clip. And then, like you said before, Steel Panther and Ultimo Dragon, but then Paul Stanley rounded it out.
Yeah, I could see Paul Stanley is probably more of a nicer person than Gene.
Well, yeah, Simmons even what he said was, I mean, I remember there was something Gene Simmons said about being on his back or something like that. He said some weird statement about Jericho.
Yeah, he was like, you spent like 30 years on your back or something like that. It's quite an accomplishment or some shit. That's why I was like, damn, even still, you're still being a dick. What are you doing?
So, but yeah, then it was the main event, which was Jericho and Hager against Chaos Project, which is, was it Luther and Serpentico? But Luther looks like a damn Uncle Fester.
I don't know how.
Who the hell is he? Because he looks like old, and he
kept on hyping
doesn't seem he can do much. Because like when he did that freaking moonsault or whatever it was off the rope, it looked like he kind of just flopped into a flip. Like,
yeah. Well, they were talking about that, and they wrestled each other like years prior or something like that. Probably like on the indies or something before, like maybe New Japan or something. But I don't remember ever seeing Luther. So it had to be on places that didn't film.
Yeah, because I was like, who the
or
hell
at least
is this? And,
because I've seen him a little bit. They were kind of teasing him with, who was it? I think it was Jimmy Havoc at one point. I think they were trying to do something with him and Jimmy Havoc, because they're both like deathmatch guys, supposedly. Or Luther is kind of like the twisted guy, but Jimmy Havoc's always like a deathmatch person. But so that was the main thing, but I didn't realize that he wrestled like Chris Jericho and a bunch of other people anyway. Like, because I never saw him anywhere, like Ring
Yeah.
of Honor or nothing. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't think that he was a thing. And then Serpentico, I think I saw him at a few other places. I don't remember for sure. It's kind of funny because they even have his mask in 2K20
I thought his entrance was
and maybe
cool, like the
2K19.
Spider-Man shit that shot out of his hands. It was like webbing or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if they did the Chaos Project one because they were kind of like showing like 30 years, and they went to somebody that wrestled him like ages ago
Yeah, I don't
or
know
something.
either.
I don't know. But they also did like last week's thing where they did something with Luther where it was during the private party one where at one point they threw him over the ramp or something like that, and eventually Luther punched him or something, and then eventually him and Jake Hager just beat the shit out of Luther and Serpentico, really, and then that's what built up for this match. But like I figured it was going to be a squash match. You'd think for the 30th anniversary thing that they were going to have Chris Jericho lose his match, like before his like main thing. But I thought it was funny after he beat him because it seemed like he put a lot of like he beat up like Chris Jericho a lot,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
surprising.
I
Before like
expected
he hit
this
him
to
with the
be a
Judas
squash
effect.
match, honestly. And it lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah,
So, especially with how much time was left at the end of the day after the videos and the Moxley promo and stuff, I'm like, well, you knew it wasn't going to last very long, but it still went longer than I thought it was going to. Especially considering how bad the
yeah,
wrestling was to me from Luther. Well, that flop over the when he did that moonsault on everybody, and it looked like he kind of just
yeah.
he didn't even jump off the ropes. He kind of just fell off of them.
Flop.
But
Yeah, yeah. So I've noticed that certain guys just do not do a great moonsault, and then they keep on highlighting their moonsault every
yeah,
time.
and then
It's
he
like, what are
used
you
the what
doing,
was it
man?
called? The Judas
If it's
elbow.
not
What is it
working,
called? The
it's
Judas
the
effect.
Judas
Okay,
effect,
yeah.
I think is the name of it. They even put that in 2K22, so you could use that as like one of your moves. Which it seems kind of funny that they do that. It's like same with Orange Cassidy's move, the little flop off
Okay.
the top rope. They kind of just like and where he just
Yeah,
falls
yeah.
down on the person. But anyway, going off on a tangent. But then eventually, of course, Chris Jericho came out, did kind of a face turn.
Well, that's what I thought
Not really
until he,
though, because he was like,
yeah,
"Thank you to you guys.
well,
Thank you
yeah,
to
when
you."
he got the gift of the clown from MJF, and he busted the
Yeah,
picture over him. I
I mean,
thought he was gonna flip, and then he high fived MJF after that. I was like, okay, that didn't make sense.
yeah. It seems like Chris Jericho's doing the long, and like he could see what MJF is doing. I think that's what he's why he's not showing like that it's bothering him,
Well,
kind
that's
of
what's
like
throwing
he's
me off a
saying
little
shit
bit because he's
that
not really
pisses him
reacting
off.
to it. So it's
But
like, well, what are they trying to get at?
yeah,
Because he reacted at first, but then he changed the reaction, so it really doesn't look like it's.
that's why I'm wondering if they're trying to do a long thing with it where he's just like, oh, okay, I'll play with this, like I'll mess with you because of whatever. It's like last week's AEW where he was sitting there and he's like, hey, do you want to join the inner circle? And he's like, do you want me to join the inner circle? And they
Mm-hmm.
kept going back and forth. It seems like they just want to like build up stuff between them, and they want to do a slow burn. So it's like Chris Jericho's like, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know when somebody's trying to fuck with me and trying to
Yeah.
take over my position or something. But they haven't really went forth through that and like did all that stuff yet. That's one thing that I like about AEW too, is that they do a lot of slow burning stuff. That they don't do a lot of stuff where it's like super quick. I mean, they
Well,
do
so far,
sometimes,
one
but
thing
like it
that
seems
is
like they
different that I
build up
can
their
say is
feuds to
that
go
I
for
don't see
like
the
months.
same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it seems fresher than WWE is right now. I mean, when I watched Raw like this past Monday, which I haven't done in like ages, there was some good stuff on it that didn't seem like same old WWE. But like every time, whenever I watch AEW, especially lately, like if I watch one of the pay-per-views or something like that, every time it's like it makes sense why these feuds are happening, like how the animosity is happening between these certain guys, like
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff makes sense. Like in and some of the stuff, and they build it up where it's not just like after 1 week where they're like, oh, Randy Orton's gonna take you out and he's gonna hit you in the face and give you a dislocated jaw, and then 2 weeks later, hey, I'm fine again. Even though that a dislocated jaw, you probably be back from like after like 6 months or something. I think that's what I can't remember their names now, but one of the dudes from FTR had. I think he had a
I think
dislocated
so.
jaw, right? Like, but like it took him like 8 months to repair it or something like that. But anyway, that's me going on to semantics anyway. So I'm definitely intrigued with next week's episode too. So, but anyway, I guess I might as well end it while we're doing this stuff. So if you like any of our stuff, you could go to the Heart of Geek pretty much everywhere, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then Twitch is just Heart of Geek. So if you guys, and especially if you guys want us to check out any other pay-per-views and stuff, you guys could just comment and just hit us up on our Facebook page or wherever like any of our socials are. And I think the next episode will probably be like, I don't know, maybe like Saturday or Sunday or something like that. I have no idea
Is this
when.
the CM Punk
But
one we're going to be doing?
and then otherwise, hopefully, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I've been thinking about doing that one for a while anyway. So, but what's it called? If you like any of this stuff, yeah, then hopefully you guys keep on listening. Especially if you made it near the end. So for that, I guess we will talk to you in the next podcast.
Bye.
All right, bye, people.